just
You could keep talking.
talk to them as though if I have something to offer, if I know there's other people behind me, like
Right.
doing it on my own, I kind of feel like, how am I supposed to convince you I'm the best agent you could go with when I know like six other people that, just personally speaking, I'm much more comfortable being like, I know this great guy, Robert, you should go talk to him. He'll take care of you. Like, that's my honest instinct when I talk to people about real estate. And so I'm just like, so I'm kind of, I like the idea of being on a team where I can have someone that like I'm directly working with to go to for support and information and to refer questions that I don't have the answer to, and like, and also, I think like long term, I just have a lot of my background is probably something that other experienced real estate agents could make use of. I have a lot of design and media experience.
Oh, okay.
I have an animation degree, so I got into all sorts of like
Animation degree, that's cool.
yeah, audio production, video production type
Yeah.
stuff. Like I have experience with all that, and so I was kind of putting it off reaching out to him because I was like, I don't know, I kind of need to figure out like what I'm doing before I like try to put myself out there. And I was just like, I don't know, I have skills. They
Right.
just don't happen to primarily be building a giant database in 4 weeks, like,
Sure.
because I'm not a cold caller. I think I would die.
You were here for a bit.
I was. It was really fun. I liked a lot of his the way he framing the conversation as I'm here to help you solve a problem. Like that's what I like about real estate. Um, but I think too much about how I feel when I get calls from people that I don't want to talk to, and I'm just like, I can't make myself do that to someone else. Like I know his whole thing was like, it's not personal, and I was like, I agree, it's not personal. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Everyone needs to be like that guy,
Yeah.
but someone has to.
Well, and he has like a very natural charisma, how he, like I can see when he's doing the role play up front, I'm like, wow, you really do talk on the phones all day.
Uh-huh.
And I think I would just go stir crazy, and I would
Sure.
just like, I'm much more like Trent was talking about, like get out and do stuff you like and meet people. And that was one of the things that I was excited about for real estate.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I like long term, I think, unless I do build just like suddenly everybody that knows me and like that's the guy to go to, I think I'm probably more interested in doing this part-time and finding another thing I'm interested in because I like learning new things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Trying.
Absolutely.
So I figure the best way though to get to the point where I'm comfortable not doing this full-time is to work with a team where I can get a bunch of experience to back that up.
Sure.
As opposed to me, like if I sell one house a year or two houses a year for the next 4 years, that means in 5 years, I'm telling people, yeah, I've had 6 sales. And they're like, every other agent I've talked to has had 50. Like,
Yeah.
So
Kind of playing like that comparing game more.
Yeah.
Or less. I gotcha. So what about a team do you feel like you could get that you wouldn't be able to get as an individual agent and then just constantly like asking other questions? Like kind of like that partnership, like
more
kind of thing, or
consistent
communication.
experience with actual transactions.
Sure, sure.
Like if I go off of my own database and the speed that I can confidently believe that I would get sales, I just think it would take me forever to feel like I was an experienced real estate agent.
Sure.
But I feel like if I'm working alongside someone else, I will have constant contact with different transactions that are occurring, and I'll be learning from weird circumstances that if I encountered it on my own, I might not have learned whatever that lesson is because I just wouldn't be able to diagnose what the problem was. And
Yeah,
so
actually. And then I guess like the main point like that you're making is as an individual agent, you're gonna get those regardless if you're on a team or individual, sure.
Yeah.
But you just want like Jonas or Holly Strongberg to like just be there and like, hey, what's up with this? Instead of trying to find the agent on call or trying to find
Yeah,
whoever else.
I like the immediacy of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this is, my relationship to you is that you're here to make sure I'm doing a good job, and I'm here to do the best job I can without bothering you, but like, I learn very quickly from that sort of like hands-on,
Yeah.
working alongside someone else.
have you shadowed any open houses yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
I'm hoping to do that. Of course, I'm gone the next 2 weekends.
yeah,
My, I, my weekends have not
Right.
been crazy this year.
yeah,
My wife's mom passed away earlier
Oh, I'm
this
sorry.
year, and so we've
That's
been
tough, yeah.
driving to Illinois a lot.
Mm,
And then
mhm.
family vacations because of that, where everyone was like, we need a break, so I thought it was gonna be a very smooth transition into real
Right.
estate, and it's like, we're gone this week, we're gone that week,
Right.
so.
Yep, exactly.
Right. Sorry about that.
Goodbye. I'm enjoying.
Absolutely,
That's
is what
it for today.
it should be, yeah. Or hopefully not only that, but
Get started.
you know how to share your screen,
Yeah.
do all that. Okay, cool. I will also join the Zoom, just in case something wildly wrong happens. But you got it. Nice talking to you, Andrew.
Yeah.
We'll catch you later.
All right, so today's class is gonna be short and sweet. It's gonna be about 30 minutes tops. Is at 1 o'clock, we have Gary Keller and Jason Abram doing list to last. So we figure that's gonna be very important to listen to today. Yeah. Trying to get my Zoom up. Brittany, Rick, Tanya, and Nan. Sorry, I'm running just a second behind. I was in the middle of something. You can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so today I'm gonna just go in, we're just gonna use the details in command to fill these out. I'm being a lefty today, not a righty. There we go. And so we're gonna talk about the listing agreement. So if you wanna bring up a listing agreement, and I'm gonna get myself out of the way here. Is that better? Trying to find something there that we can look at today. So, okay, so we're pretty good about how to create your listings in here, your opportunity in command. Okay, so normally we would be doing this in the MLS. But instead of trying to go through and find all the forms today, we're just gonna go ahead and use them here in command. So when you're at a listing, you're always gonna have the agency filled out first. And then your affiliated disclosure, where you can put your client's name in here. And then down below, you're gonna put the address in here. Have it dated, the date that you're there. Your client's print a name and signing. So that's all you need for that form. Yeah, let's see if I can minimize this. There we go. All right. The exclusive right to sell, this is the one I want to go over with you guys today. Okay, so when you are filling out the form, you're gonna put in your date. That's the date that your contract is being written. You're gonna list the address of the property you're gonna list on there, along with the city, the county, the zip code, and the legal description, which you can get off of the tax records. Go ahead and list the seller's name. Here, you might want to go ahead and use their legal name if they have one, just for the fact that it matches their driver's license and everything else to go to close. The broker is going to be us, Keller Williams Select. And the date that the contract starts on. Just because you're there today, the contract might not start till Friday. So you can put that on there, okay? And when the contract ends. So the usual, and that's at 11:59 PM at the very end of the day. I do recommend going out a good 4 to 6 months when you list a property, due to the fact that you have to find someone to buy the property and then you have to get to the closing table. And that can be a 2 to 3 month process. Otherwise, you can amend your contract on that.
What is the limit again on how long?
The MLS will start flagging, giving us a notice saying we put a wrong date in if we go out more than a year.
So
So I would say stay within that year. When our market's really, really hot, you can be at a shorter time. When it's really slow, you're gonna wanna have a longer contract. Okay? Until I do not like using a mouse. All right. There we go. Okay. The price of the property down here in line 13. You must have a price on that line. Okay? It cannot be to be determined. It cannot be a price range. It must be a specific price to put in there. Okay? When you're doing this, you might be signing a withheld at that time. And when you're within the withheld period, no one's gonna see if you adjust that price. It's when you come soon or you go active. So it's a price of where the market is that day you're meeting with the client. Okay? You can always change that before going live. The next line down is line 14, and that is terms. And terms do need to be filled out. And you can put in there VA, FHA, conventional, cash, all the terms that a seller would accept to sell the property. And you can also put all offers will be submitted. If you look at the Minnesota statute 82.66, it tells you it has to have terms and it has to have a price on the contract. Okay, and if you put in there all offers will be submitted, I believe that will go ahead and be acceptable. Let's see here. Try doing it this. There we go. All right. Then comes down and we'll discuss the listing, what the brokerage will do. You are the broker. You're the one that's putting the for sale sign in the yard. You're the one that's putting it onto the MLS and listing the the property for sale. Goes through, talks about the IDX, talks about the VOW. Go ahead and read through that so that you know what that is about. And coming down here, these questions here, okay, so the terms will go onto your input sheet, okay? The same thing's gonna happen here with questions number 40 and down, these options. Listing display on the internet. Your seller needs to tell you yes or no. You need to check a box. If it is yes, then you need to come down and fill out options 2 and 3. And I think there's a 4th one. In giving permission to list the address on the MLS. And automatic valuation of the property. 1 and 2 are always, if you check yes for 2, so you can put the address on there, okay? Number 3 is if you want to have evaluation, and that's just third parties throwing some numbers out there according to how they figure out theirs. Number 4 is one that we always say you might want to have marked no, to the fact that you don't want to have somebody go out and leave a review of the property. Okay? 73 and 74, are you gonna list the property for lease? If you check whichever box on 73, then you need to answer 74, if it's yes or no. Normally, I think the majority of our properties are not leased at the time that we put them on the market, so it's normally is not. 74 would be may not. Okay, if it is gonna be leased, you need to know who the broker is for the lease. All right, then talks a little bit about the seller's obligation when the property is on the market, the condition they'll keep it on, giving access for showings to the property. Okay. Now we come down to line. Oh yeah, and it talks about recording on the property. Just be aware that a lot of people have cameras and Ring doorbells and everything. So that you do put that into your agent remarks that maybe there is a camera on. And if it's recording. Okay, broker's compensation, this is the biggest one. Now, August 1st is around the corner here. And our form may be changing, it might not be, because it changed last year in August. Okay. So, line 116, seller agrees to pay broker a retainer fee. A retainer fee is normally a fee that's paid upfront, and you would earn that upon a successful closing. That's for more like a seller who might not have some extra funds available at the end of their closing. So you might have them pay it up. That is probably far and few in between. I've not ever seen that. Line 119, seller shall pay broker as broker's compensation. What are you asking, or what are you telling your seller? What is your fee? Okay, commonly it's about 3.3%. It can be more, it could be less. Okay, so you would put that in line 119. Or if you're gonna do a flat fee. No matter what property, or when the property sells, they're gonna pay you X. It's one or the other, or whichever is greater. All right, so then 122 is other. Why is that? Come on. There we go. Why do I feel like I have an older form in here? Okay, this is an older form. This is embarrassing. On the new one in the MLS, it has talks about what you're gonna be paying. I'm just gonna see if I can find one real quick. I just wanna make sure you guys see this clear, because this is very hard sometimes to understand. Because of the changes that were made last year in August over the lawsuit. So down here. Okay. So down here, I really shouldn't have put the 2.7 on mine. I should have left that 0 and let that be negotiable on line 406 of the PA. Okay. So line 119 here is talking about your commission, what you're gonna earn. Lines 122 to 124 red line them out, cross them out, put zeros in these boxes, and let the seller negotiate what they want to pay a buyer. Okay? They may want to pay a buyer's agent 2.5. If 2.7's in here, then it becomes non-negotiable. Then down in here, the 2.7 was put in here. This can just be left as zeros also nowadays, because it is what the cooperating brokerage is gonna get. Once again, it should be negotiable. 133, that goes for if you are doing a facilitator, and we normally don't do that much here, but that's where a flat fee would be paid out to them. But if it's negotiable in line 406, then it can be written in there. Okay, did I go too fast for you guys online? Okay, line 145, within 180 days, somewhere between 0 to 180 days after the contract has expired, and the seller agrees to sell the property to anyone during the contract period. What? Okay. Made an inquiry about the property. Okay, or had any type of interest, they seen the property. You need to give a list to that seller within 72 hours. There is a chance that that seller then could owe you commission, because you could have accepted an offer from that party during the time of the contract. Alright. Down on what?
No, I think it's picking up yours. And
Picking up me. I muted me. Okay. All right. 166. 167. I know we can't quite see the 166 there. Talks about arranging for a qualified closing agent to conduct the closing. This would be you talking with your seller, and for you to set up and send over everything that needs to go to title. That's 166. 167 is that the seller is gonna do it and find it someone to close on the property, or they're working with an attorney. You need to check one of those boxes and have the seller initial. But, yeah. I don't know if it's the screen or if it's my computer that does not like to move fast enough. Okay. You know, we're not gonna see this whole box in here, but this is the dual agency. If you're gonna have another agent within this office, within our market center. Line 200 here means that your seller will agree to work with another agent within our office. 201 means that a seller will not agree. Okay. If offers are not coming in, you can go ahead and you can adjust that if you need to, or amend your contract. Okay. And then down here, it's just making sure that everybody gets cells. You don't have to put the whole address in here. You don't have to put the email address in here. But sometimes I do that just to help me out when I'm sending out the forms. Okay. And then down here is the wire fraud. That has to be signed by the buyer. Okay. Are there any questions on that?
Connie, this is Regina, wondering what is the biggest, maybe mistake, or what's the thing you see that most agents forget or skip over?
I think it's because of the way the form changed last year for the commission. And making it like, best practices of what Alexa says is let them negotiate on line 406, because that is what the whole lawsuit was about, was that the sellers didn't get a chance to negotiate them. They've already negotiated here with you on line 119 when you're in your meeting with them. And down here, you know, line 123, if you put it in, I mean, that's what your seller is gonna pay. And what happens if a buyer's agent decides they're gonna put 2.5? You're gonna save your seller some funds. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering what most people kind of forget or get wrong.
Yeah, I think it's just basically going through it, making sure that you go line by line and fill in the boxes, fill in the lines with information. And then the same thing is when you load it up to be signed electronically, that all the boxes are all in line. They don't always auto onto the line. So it's very easy to miss something, mainly initial. So I always go down once, and then I was taught to read it backwards and look for mistakes on there. All right. Any other questions for that form? Okay, so when you're looking at lines 9 and 10, the date the contract starts and the date that the contract ends, those dates belong on your coming soon and your withheld. Okay, so when you're on this form here, you have the date that your contract started, the date that it's gonna expire. Alrighty, then you go ahead and you fill out the county and all the other information, and you have your seller sign it, and you sign it. Now, both your listing agreement and your withheld have to be entered into the MLS within 2 business days. Okay, so when you're sitting there with your sellers and they're not ready to go on the market, but they're signing that listing agreement, best practice would be is to have them do a withheld. That means they can continue to do whatever they need to do to get the house ready for market. Then you can continue to do what you need to do to get the information available into the MLS. We can enter that into the MLS. We can make changes. We can change the price. Nobody's gonna see that information but you and the person at the front desk making those changes. All right, once you start hitting the coming soon and the active period, those changes will start showing up in the MLS. They won't say what's been changed, but they can see price changes. If you change some information, they might see a change in there if they've been following your property. Okay, so make sure that this is your contract date, okay? Now, there's been some questions every once in a while. You go in there and you do this and seller 1 signs, but seller 2 is unavailable to sign. Then your beginning of your contract date starts by the last person who signs the contract. So don't worry about all of a sudden you have to rearrange your dates. Okay? And then the same thing goes with the coming soon. And you can go ahead and you can have them pre-sign this when
So
you're
you-
there.
Sorry, you're saying if you put the contract date as starting on like Thursday, but you don't get the second signature till Friday, you don't have to change anything, it just automatically defaults to the second
Defaults if it's
signature.
past the 42 business days.
Gotcha.
And it's business days, so weekends are not business days. Okay, so when you come in on Monday, if you sign on Saturday or Sunday, you want to make sure that the front desk has the information to enter into the MLS by Monday, no later than Tuesday. And we enter everything in received up until 3 p.m. And if you send it over on a Saturday, depending what's going on, we do have people covering the emails and stuff from 10 to 2. Your listing might get entered on a Saturday. Okay. So this one here is the coming soon sign or form. Contract date right there. The same that was on my listing contract, same thing that was on my withheld contract. Fill in the information, this availability date. If you're sitting at the table and they're not sure if they want to go coming soon, but they're not sure what date too, leave it blank. As far as I know, they can sign. You can come back in and put a date in and they can initial. And then you can move into coming soon, or you can just fill it out at the time you're ready to go coming soon and have them sign it. But just always make sure the contract date and expiration date is the same that's on your listing form. So you carry that from the listing form to the withheld to the coming soon. All right. And I think we got a couple minutes left. And where is my input? You let me know when we have to change over.
Yeah. I'm ready to change over whenever you are.
This is the new input sheet. And at the bottom of this, it should have, this is not the right one in our MLS or in our command right now. But when you're in the MLS, it should say April 2025 that this form is in here. This needs to be signed prior to being entered into the MLS, giving consent for the up in here. If you have a withheld number, if you could put it in here, that'd be great. If you send it on your email, that's fine, that's great. The status here, these are not blackened, but it's really kind of nice to tell us where your listing is. Did you have us put it in withheld? You know, or is it incoming soon? All these black boxes here, these are all required. So make sure that you get those in and filled out. Right now, we should be doing taxes for 2025, not 2024. All right. And take some time and go through this. For instance, right now today, this listing type for exclusive right is a black box. This is automated as of today to go to exclusive right. But August 1st, it's going to be up to you to check that box and up to us to check the box to put it into the system that way. Same thing with construction site. I'm just kind of going through a few of these. Here's where that internet questions 1 through 4, yes or no, that we talked about in the listing agreement goes. Associations become required if you have an association. Bedrooms, bathrooms, please put zeros in the boxes if they don't pertain, okay? Because if you're in St. Paul and you got a quarter bathroom in the basement and you forget to mark a 1 there, and I put a 0 there, and somebody gets hold of them MLS, that could be a fine. All right, down here's another quick change, and then we'll kind of quit. 500 and then 501. 503, if you look at the old form, you'll notice that these are not laid out the same way, and they're very easy to miss. And I can guarantee you 1 out of 10 agents are finding these right now because of that change. So just go through, that's just a little bit slower, fill one out for your house, fill one out for a property online maybe that you've seen, and find out where they are. And then any of these clear white boxes, the more information for the MLS, the better off for us. All right, so this is just a real quick one because we want to get into the Gary Keller's thing. Next week, Gary Keller will also be doing one from 1 to 4.
Yep.
We won't do forms. And then in August, end of July, beginning of August, sometime, Alexis is doing a mandatory one. And you must attend that because these forms are changing as of August 1st. We don't know what they are or how much, okay? Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Connie. We appreciate it. I am just gonna go ahead and